Right. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm back. Hey guys, I have absolutely no makeup on and I'm going to be filming a video that's very brave, very different of me. So we have a new addition to the family. Here's my little baby. I got a little baby. I'm so happy, alhamdulillah, he's come. And we're matching outfits today already. And I'm gonna do my birth and delivery story, hopefully, if he lets me. So today is the 6th of November. He was born on the 4th at 9 AM. My labor was 4 hours in total, which sounds absolutely amazing. Nazmir was 5, he was 4, and it was pretty insane because even though it was shorter, it was so much more difficult. It was so difficult. 2 weeks prior to his birth, I kept getting contractions for 3 days in the first week and for 1 day in the second week, like crazy contractions. Each time I thought I was gonna give birth, I thought I was gonna have the baby, and nothing happened. It would literally, after like a whole day of contractions, they would just stop, disappear, I'd go to sleep and they'll be gone. On the 3rd, I had a midwife's appointment, and it was like my 41-week midwife appointment. It was 5 days overdue, and my midwife was like, do you want a sweep? And I was like, yes, I want a sweep. And she was like, are you sure you want a sweep? And I was like, yes, I definitely want a sweep. And I got a sweep, and she was like, okay, you're about 2 to 3 centimeters dilated already. And I was like, okay. That made me so happy, and I was like, that makes so much sense because I have been getting contractions like crazy for the last 2 weeks, and I just wasn't sure what was happening. And she was like, yeah, you're basically being in slow labor. And I was like, okay, this is amazing because it just means very soon I'll have the baby, and hopefully it'll be easy, because not easy, yeah, because I've been having contractions for such a while. So I got the sweep at about 3:40 PM on the 3rd. Then at 5:30, so 2 hours later, I started getting very mild. Like, they literally weren't even painful, but I could just feel a wave come over my back. And it feels a little bit like period pain in the back of your back, and then you get like this wave of pain. It's really weird to describe, but it is like a wave. It starts off very like small. And what ended up happening was me and my sister-in-law were supposed to go to IKEA. So on her way to coming to get me, this was also, by the way guys, this was 1 day before lockdown, so we were trying to do as much as we possibly could do because obviously lockdown was going to happen. So she needed to go IKEA and get some stuff. I literally just needed a shelf and I wanted a blanket. So she came to get me. I got in the car and everything, and then like 2 minutes in, I was like, by the way, just to let you know, I think my contractions have started. And then she was like, what? Okay, I'm taking you home, you're not going anywhere. And I was like, no, trust me, don't take me home. I don't need to go home, like I'm fine, I'm not gonna give birth right now. And then she was like, what if the baby slides out? And I was like, yeah, that doesn't happen. We went to IKEA. I was there, I was getting very mild contractions, like it was nothing. Then we got all the stuff queued up. I got in the car, and then as we were on the motorway, my contractions started to get a little bit more painful and a little bit more. By the time I got home, I was like, okay, I think I'm going into labor. So I literally called Ahmed and I was like, listen, we need to tidy up the whole house. So we did a quick like tidy up, zoomed around the house. I was literally getting contractions and I was dying. Then by 11:30 in the night, it got so painful for me, but they were irregular. So I called the hospital and I was like, listen, they're so unbearable, but they're irregular. Like, what does that mean? And then the midwife on the phone was like, basically, there's no point you coming in, you should come when they're regular, because it just means you're not ready, you're not in active labor, so there's no point us keeping you here, we're just gonna send you home. So I was like, okay, that's fine, I'll stay at home. So I decided to have a bath. As soon as I got in the bath, my contractions stopped. Like, they just completely stopped. Got out the bath, I had no contractions, not even one little teeny tiny flimsy one. Like, I just had nothing. I was like, okay, you know what, I really want to have a baby, please let me have this baby. So then I woke up at 5 a.m. and I really needed the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, and okay, this is going to be TMI, but I feel like this is quite important because it didn't happen with Nesmia, but my mucus plug fell out, and I was like, oh, does this mean like my labor started? Then literally by the time I walked from the bathroom to the bedroom, which is like 2 steps, I started getting the maddest contractions ever. I was like, I literally woke up Ahmed. It was 5 o'clock. I woke up Ahmed. I was like, listen, my contractions are unbearable. I was literally screaming. I was like, we have to go to the hospital. Like, I'm so ready, let's go. All my bags, everything were packed. They were downstairs, so we ran downstairs. And it was so funny because Ahmed was like, I'm gonna brush my teeth, and even though he was just brushing his teeth, it felt like forever, and I was like going mad. It was so funny because I was like, why are you faffing around? And he wasn't really, but my contractions were so close together and they were so painful that I just couldn't take it. So we got in. It was absolutely freezing cold. It was 5 in the morning. Got to the hospital at 5:30. It was a 15-minute drive, so by the time we got there it was like 5:25. I couldn't get out the car, so they had to get me a wheelchair. Got my wheelchair, and then got dropped off at the reception. Had to wait for a midwife, who then came. She checked me and she was like, because Ahmed wasn't allowed. Okay, so this is the thing, because of COVID and corona, corona, same thing. Because of that, I had the worst anxiety ever. I was just like, you know what, they're not gonna let Ahmed in, I'm gonna have to give birth by myself. Like, I had a really bad anxiety. I was really scared. I didn't want to go to the hospital to give birth because I was like, I'm not giving birth alone. And then when I got there, thank God, when they checked me, they were like, you're between 4 and 5 centimeters, so he can come. The relief that I got was like, thank God. I just couldn't believe it. So then he was allowed in. He came in. By this point, I've been having contractions for about an hour now, and then I requested a water birth. But guys, if you are low risk and your birth is going smoothly, I would definitely 1000% recommend a water birth. Like, they are insane, they're amazing. Honestly, like, I think I'll do a separate video on that because it's quite long. I had my pool, they filled it up, and then they were like, okay, you can get in. And the pool was amazing, it was so nice. I had my contractions in there, like, everything was going okay. I had the most amazing midwife ever. She was so amazing, incredible. Her name was Steph. I was at the women's hospital, yeah, the women's hospital in Birmingham. It was amazing experience, it was so good. And then she changed shifts, and then I got these 2 other girls who were pretty young, and then so they were monitoring me, and then I started bleeding. It was like the tiniest amount, but they were worried that it meant something, so they were like, okay, listen, you're gonna have to get out the pool, and we're gonna have to just assess you because we can't assess you in the pool. So I was like, okay. Had a few more contractions, got out the pool, and then I just wouldn't stop bleeding, and they were like, okay, we need to, I can't remember where they took me, but basically they needed to take me to another room. I had to get assessed. I had to have like some doctors look at me and stuff, that's what they said. And then as I was getting into the wheelchair and stuff, I could just feel myself like just constantly bleeding and bleeding. I wasn't worried, and neither was Ahmed, just because that happened with Nesmia and they didn't say anything. I bled a lot with Nesmia, they didn't say anything, and it wasn't a concern with them, but this was at a different hospital. and to be honest, I didn't have a great experience there. So we were like, okay, we're just gonna follow whatever, let's just do what they say we have to do. So then we went and they put me on the bed, and then the contractions, they were something else. Oh, by the way, I had gas and air, so I only had gas and air at this point, and I just couldn't handle the contractions. It was so bad. Next thing you know, I was like, okay, because I wasn't really allowed to push. They were like, don't push, you're only 6 centimeters. And at this point I was like, I'm only 6, I'm dying, and I'm ready to push. Like, my body really wants to push, this baby wants to come out. And they were like, you can't, your uterus isn't ready, you're gonna damage it if you do. And obviously I was really worried, so I was like, then what's gonna happen? So by this point my water still hadn't broke, and I felt like I was 10 hours into the labor, but I wasn't. I was only about 3 hours in. It just wasn't happening, just a bit over, yeah, so it just wasn't happening. So they were like, okay, we're gonna get the doctor in and he's gonna rupture, like, we're gonna have to rupture your waters, we're gonna have to do something to break the waters, basically. And then I was like, okay, I was really scared because I didn't really research anything into it, so I wasn't sure. But I was like, I don't care, like, I just need to get this baby out at this point. And then literally a minute before the doctor came, my waters broke by themselves. It was insane. I was lying on this bed, I was dying. Ahmed had to hold my gas and air because I just couldn't function, I couldn't do anything. The relief when that happened, because I was like, okay, I can start pushing. I started pushing. After a few pushes, he came out in like 3 goes, if that makes sense. Like, he came out in 3 parts. First his head came out, then his shoulders, and then his whole body came out. Oh my god, like, it was crazy. Because when he came out, like, when he finally came out, it was really weird, because while I was having the contractions I felt like death. I felt like, so while I was having the contractions I felt like death. I felt like the world was ending, and everything seemed so dark and gloomy. I couldn't open my eyes. It was just horrendous. It was the worst experience ever. It was way worse than Nazmia's birth, pain wise and everything. Like, I had no complications with her. With her it was the issues afterwards. And then literally, I'm not kidding you, like, the moment they gave him to me, I felt like the sun had come out. Like, I could see the sun beaming in. The lights got bright all of a sudden. I feel like there was a fog in the room, and the fog had cleared, and everything was just bright and airy. And then, you know, in movies and cartoons, when like the sun shines down and it's all like, ah, and then there's like halos and stuff. That's literally how I felt. Yeah, he had come out. Everything was great. I felt, honestly, it was like everything I had just gone through hadn't happened. And then my biggest concern was, after he came out, was, have I torn? Because with Nazmia I had a 3rd degree tear, and it was almost a 4th degree tear. So literally, like, I was a millimeter away from a 4th degree. So my biggest thing was, have I torn? Because he was a whole pound bigger than Nazmia, and that really scared me, because I was like, he's really big. And when he came out, I was like, oh my god, he's so big. He was 8 pounds. And then she looked and she was like, you're about 2 centimeters. And I was like, thank god, alhamdulillah, because I made so much dua that my tearing is like minimal and something I can bear with. Because when this meal was so bad, it took me months and months and months to heal. Like, it took me so long to just be myself again, and it really took a toll on my body, and I wasn't able to walk. I couldn't lie down, I couldn't sit down, I couldn't do anything. And this time round I got some amazing painkillers as well, which was just so amazing. I don't know why I didn't get them first time round. Like, I have no idea why, but considering I had less tearing, and they were amazing because they lasted 2 days. Like, I didn't have pain for 2 whole days because of them. So this was my labor and delivery story. I kind of wanted to keep it very straight to the point, and then, like, with the water bath, I wanted to talk about that separately and answer your guys' questions, because I had a lot of questions. Also, I wanted to just let you know like how my birth went during COVID and corona times. Like this is how it was. So it was one day, literally it was one day before lockdown happened, because lockdown happened on Thursday. So it was one day before, and with lockdown and stuff here in the UK, like that's the kind of birth I had. Oh, so what happened afterwards, so they stitched me up. I got taken on a wheelchair with holding him into another room where I could like get changed, shower, freshen up. Ahmed was allowed to stay with me, which was amazing. We ended up, so he was born at 9:40 in the morning, and then at 1 p.m. they said we can discharge you. We just need to do some paperwork and we need to do his jabs and stuff, and then you can basically take him home. And at this point Ahmed was still with us. We were in a room, there was like a bed and a chair. We had our own room, which was amazing. We didn't end up getting discharged until 4:30 p.m. just because his paperwork and stuff like that took a little bit longer than we expected, but still we were basically there for 12 hours, which is amazing. And we got discharged and got to go home on the same day, which is great. I really didn't want to stay. I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to share a ward with anybody. I just really wanted to go home, especially with everything going on. I just felt like the last thing I wanted was to just be alone with him. I know I got really lucky that Ahmed was allowed to stay. I think they were just super sweet and really lovely, and I guess he wasn't bothering anybody. Like we were in our own room, so it was fine for him to be there. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.